Diary of a Messenger. Another day has come, and it is time for the dry bones to rise. Lost in a haze of confusion, we find ourselves on the grass struggling to find an identity. But the powers that be realize the two world orders are on the edge of combat, and they exhaust every measure to see to it that we continue killing each other over a slice of devil's pie. My heart is filled with discouragement from the thought of the ethnic cleansing of my people. Within the Creator spoke to me, saying that you are too strong for extermination. Go, my son, and deliver the word to the young guns and engage in the highest tactics of guerrilla warfare. Every day we pray for strength as we arm ourselves with the weapons of truth and right knowledge. Contemplating on industry thoughts, I came to see that to keep the message pure, it must be kept free from corporate entities who wish to corrupt the minds of the sons and daughters. My mission is plain, and I am clear on my assignment. And when I bring this truth to the house of Satan, there will be smoke in the city.
You are listening to WKHR Radio in the African Village of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Well, my Odd Hotep family, this is Pastor E.S. Upchurch, once again back at you with another WKHR broadcast, and we're delighted to be back with you. I am Pastor E.S. Upchurch.
I am Brother Akilana Adebo Abdallah, the Minister of Defense for the African Village in Milwaukee.
And I, as well as he, we're glad to be back with you here on WKHR Radio. This is Tracing the Steps of Truth podcast and radio broadcast, which is sponsored by the African Village of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, located at 3500 West Center Street. And remember to enter in through the parking lot on Hadley. Our service times are Sunday mornings, 10:30 a.m. fellowship, 11 a.m. service, or Nini, what it is called in the Kemetic tongue, worship. And hey, we want you to be with us. Come join us if you're in the city of Milwaukee. And hey, we're very happy to be with you once again. As the chief elder of the African Village, we're coming at you with another broadcast. Since we had problems on last week, we had an issue last week, and we got beyond that. We were very surprised to hear that everything that we talked about, everything that we talked about, brother, was heard by no one but us and the Creator, right? So, yeah, man, just chopping it up together, man, you know. But we're delighted to come back again and dig into the conversation. And we're going to be talking about cosmic law and our responsibility to cosmic law. We're going to be talking about that in just a second. And I'm here with my broadcasting assistant here in the studios of WKHR. Very happy that, man, I tell you, I'm very glad that my brother's with me. And, hey, we're just going to go ahead and do this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And, of course, what we do is in the tradition of the African villages, in the tradition of the African village. If you've ever been to the African village, there's something that we do. And one of the first things that we do is we make sure that our hearts and that our minds are prepared to tap into those things that are spiritual. There's a spiritual law, as we talk about cosmic laws, that, you know, basically evil attracts evil. And so if you are evil within, then you will attract evil. Negativity attracts negativity. And so before we do anything at the village, even before we pay homage to the ancestors, we make sure that we are right within. And as I always quote Sister Lauren Hill, who says what, brother?
What does Sister Lauren Hill say?
She says, how can you win when you are not right within? And so, taking our sister up on that, we make absolutely sure that we are right within. And so we do some checking, do some soul searching. And so, that being done, we want to give you an opportunity to, you know what, hey, just check yourself for a minute. And ask yourself the question whether or not you are in need of a moment to get stuff straight with someone, okay? That being the case, we're going to go ahead and honor the ancestors. And we honor the ancestors by saying, "O African ancestors, blacker than 1,000 midnights, it is to you, we your people, your children, give respect and honor. May your presence fill this place. You who have been purposely excluded from the history books, our African ancestors, who gave mathematics and medicine, who gave literature and arts, music, who gave philosophy and God consciousness to the world. We honor you as your children, and we thank you for making a future for us. And we promise now that we will not fail to honor you, we will not fail to hear you, and we will not betray you. And to this we say,
Ashe.
Ashe. Well, family, we thank you for being with us once again here. And the topic of discussion is cosmic law, natural law, sometimes called universal law. And, of course, in the email I sent out, I was asking a question. When is it right to follow cosmic law as opposed to the laws of men? Which is really a heavy question. When you really, really think about it.
It's real heavy.
Yeah, because what you're suggesting is that when something does not flow with cosmic law, that we then operate out of a divine disobedience.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
So operating out of a divine disobedience, because we're supposed to be children of the Creator. We're supposed to be created in the image and in the likeness of the Creator, both God and Goddess, masculine and feminine. And there are certain laws that govern the universe. There are certain laws that govern the universe, creation, physical matter, and spiritual matter. And would you agree or disagree if I were to say that the problems that we have in life are because we violate one of the spiritual laws?
No doubt. I mean, to be African is to be disciplined under natural law, under the laws of.
Wait, hold on now.
Right.
You said to be African is what?
To be disciplined under natural law.
Man, that's the D word, brother.
Man, right, and it's
discipline.
Heavy. Right, because like you said, when is it cool to follow natural law? As opposed basically to following, the laws of man. Well, the only way that you would divert to the laws of man is if you trying to accommodate your lusts outside of the disciplines of natural law, and you want to accommodate those devilish, deeds that you want to do. So you're gonna jump on something that's a little bit more watered down that allow you to do garbage. You see?
And that's very true, because see, there's many now what you brought up just took me way back. Because back when I was a good Christian, I thought that everything that I did could be wiped clean with some magical eraser as long as I said, either Lord forgive me, or Jesus forgive me, or I just stated boldly, that's under the blood.
Wow.
So in other words, I could do you wrong, I could shoot you, I could stab you, right?
Right.
Steal from you, but as long as I said before I went to bed, Lord forgive me, or Jesus forgive me, or all that's under the blood. I'm covered by the blood. Whoa, hallelujah.
Well, no consequence?
Yeah, that all my consequences would be wiped away, and I would then be forgiven. But we understand that to be a lie.
Yeah, right. We know that to be a lie.
And it is such a lie until, that's one of the indictments that I have against Christianity. What? You got an indictment? Hell yeah, I got an indictment against Christianity.
Right.
And one of them is that brand of hypocrisy and blindness that justifies someone even though they're in the wrong. I can't tolerate that.
And I don't believe any African under the disciplines of African consciousness, African law, natural law, could tolerate some garbage like that.
Yeah, because when you look at the ancestors valued, speaking truth above all and being true. Man, Ma'at is all about being true, being real.
Yes, sir.
Being true to your square. Making sure that you do things that are right.
Right.
But this wicked system, basically, I'll be honest with you, man. This system called Christianity, mainly Christianity, sets up a system where you are rewarded for violating those cosmic laws.
Right.
And as long as you say, Lord, forgive me, or Jesus, or the blood, you are supposedly covered.
Right.
But I'm sorry, nobody's going to escape the laws. The laws are there. And, one of the laws that I like to use is the law of gravity. If you go to the edge of the U.S. Bank building downtown, which is 40-plus stories, right, as tall as building number 7 that fell at the World Trade Center, if you walk off the edge of that mug, right, you are going down.
Yeah, no doubt.
The law of gravity ain't going to stop and ask you, wait, what's your name? You got an African name?
No doubt.
If you got an African name, you cool with me. No. Gravity is going to take your behind down.
No doubt.
And that's an example of the laws, and regardless of what we call ourselves, if you call yourself a Christian, if you call yourself hey, I believe in Islam, I'm a Muslim, look, the universal laws are just that.
Right. And like you teach us at the African village, Ma'at, being truth, justice, and righteousness, also, entails reciprocity.
No, you didn't say that. No, you didn't say that.
Maybe that's why they don't want you to be on natural law, because they use Christianity to enslave us. Them Arabs was responsible for slaving us also. And so, they don't want to dwell up under that, reciprocity, because if they teach that you should do unto others as you want done unto you.
Oh boy, yeah.
Then you dealing in Ma'at, that natural law, that would mean that maybe we're probably at the time to where, it'd be a crying shame if some other colored strange fruits was hanging from trees.
But see, you know what? There's a lot. You say that jokingly somewhat, but there's a lot of people that were actually afraid of that. And you know what? That's why they didn't want to see Obama, right? Because after Obama was, he had won the presidential election, right? Somebody sent out an email and said, all white people are to report to the cotton fields at 7 a.m. in the morning for orientation. And there are people that are afraid. They're afraid. Why? Because they know what cosmic law is, brother.
Right.
They know that they got something coming.
Right.
They know that they got justice coming. Right? Thomas Jefferson said, and I paraphrase, I can't quote it exactly, but Thomas Jefferson said, when I think that there is a just God, he said, I'm afraid for our country because I'm afraid of what we did.
Man.
When you look at the fact that there is a just God that goes by universal law, cosmic law, natural law, whatever you want to call it, when you think about the fact that the forces, the divine forces, are moving in a direction to bring about reciprocity like you brought out, I'd be scared too if I was a devil. Man. I'd be scared too if I was trying to do evil and wicked. Man. I'd be scared too.
Man, you ought to be scared. You ought to be scared, man. It's a lot of stuff happening, since Barack Obama has been elected president. Gas prices done went down. Man.
Yeah.
It's heavy out here now. Man.
And see, there's a number of people that are fearing. See, it's not so much that they cannot find value in a Barack Obama. They don't like the fact that he's black and in power. because that would insinuate that the tides are turning.
Oh yeah, yes sir, yes sir.
And see, that shows you. Look. Okay. If I own a business and I tell you, look, you work for me, I've been keeping record on you, and when I get back from being out of town, man, I'm paying you everything that you got coming.
Right.
Well, if you've been doing right, you looking forward to me coming back in town, right?
Right.
Because you're like, man, I've been working hard. I've been on my job, So I know I got something coming that's gonna be good. But if you knew that you did evil,
right, you ain't looking for me to come back.
No, not at all. In fact, I'm gonna try to keep you away.
Right. As best as possible.
Because when the cat's away, the mice will play, and so it's the same way with society. And there is a greater law, or I should say, a greater set of laws that are in play than what many people want to realize, especially in governments. Because, man, and I know you know this to be true, but governments act as God. I heard somebody say, well, really, God is a government of democracy. That's what God really, really means. When you really look at how the rubber meets the road, it's a government of democracy where those people rule. See, because democracy can be divided up two different ways. Either the people at large rule, or a select group of people rule.
Oh, you mean like what's going on right now?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oh, like that.
Exactly.
I was making sure.
Yeah, and so it's still ruled by the people, but it's just not ruled by all the people. And so might then becomes right. That's the way that this society operates. I got more power than you, so I'm right.
Right.
And I think it was Maxwell Jordan who said that it is a pity of those who think authority to be the truth rather than truth to be the authority. Which is really all important when you understand that hey, everyone is subject to the divine laws. Period. I don't care who you are subject to the divine laws. And what many people don't want is for what they did to come back on them.
Right. And I mean that's every man's fear. Because, I mean, like, it's a certain kind of discipline that's involved in order for you to go out every day and treat your fellow Africans as you want to be treated.
Yes.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in a message to the black man, said that if we were to be in love with ourselves, we won't have time to love everybody else.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, if we was to love each other as Africans the way we supposed to, that's a great discipline because, to iron out, disagreements in a peaceful manner amongst other Africans, and I always emphasize Africans because I don't, concern myself with ironing out, problems with them peoples. But,
I hear you.
But that's a level of discipline. But when you wrong somebody, if you take somebody's family member's life, and to think that you can go run up into a church, a mosque, or a synagogue and be talking about, hey, I repent and going on. It ain't that sweet. You crushing souls,
Yeah.
So, I mean, man, that natural law is heavy, brother.
And I'm going to tell you something, part of that whole piece is that people have taken, for instance, once again, see, brother, you saying stuff that's taking me way back. When I was in the church, this physical world was on like a whole completely different level. And it was like, whatever I felt in the spirit, that ruled and that overruled anything that I thought was physical. So, in other words, I could do you wrong, but if I felt that conviction and I felt like Jesus loved me in my heart, I would feel like I was forgiven.
Wow.
And so what I did to you becomes second fiddle. That's on the back burner. Because I got this deep feeling on the inside that God still loves me.
Wow.
And Jesus forgave me.
Wow.
Right? So everything on the physical level becomes, kind of like, that happened, but, that's under the blood. I just felt the spirit. Ooh, hey, hallelujah. Oh, man, I'm all right. I got to be all right because I felt that little jiggle tickle thing. I felt so I got to be all right. So in that psychosis, in that brainwashing, people who feel a little something can completely override everything that's physical. Forget what I did to you. Forget what I said to you. right? I can cuss you out in the parking lot, but because I speak in tongues in church, that overrides what I did to you in the parking lot.
Yeah, and they don't ride like that, man.
No.
And that's the beauty of natural law, man. It don't discriminate. You know, the fact of the matter is that I don't give a care what religious sect you come from, you still gonna be held accountable by cosmic law.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
So you can be spooky as you want to be with all your rituals, you know, you still gonna be held accountable for cosmic law. And that's the beauty. That's what we as Africans understood and are beginning again to understand, that, you know, we gonna be held accountable. So, you know, it's always best to treat your brethren and your sisters, you know, as your equal. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly. And so, you know, on that note, let's start talking about some of the universal laws or the cosmic laws, right? Because brother, time has a way of getting away from us, man. We'll be chopping it up, and it'll be time to leave before we get started. So, universal law, there are 7 major principles. 7 major principles of universal law, cosmic law, right? One of them is what might be referred to as mentalism. Okay, well, what does that mean? That just simply says, as I heard one physicist say, you cannot have mind without you cannot have the universe without mind or consciousness.
True that.
And the other side of that is that attached on to the things that we call natural and physical, you have divine mind attached to it. You have a consciousness attached to it. And on that note, some of the experiments done by Dr. Emoto, where he took water samples and he froze them after he subjected the water to different emotions and states of his mind. On one of the bottles, he said, or he taped to the side of the bottle, Adolf Hitler. And the water molecule literally looked like it was something evil and disruptive, because it attached on to that energy an image.
Under the microscope.
Under the microscope, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And you could actually see that. In fact, he said a prayer over water, and the water molecule, the same water, completely transformed itself and became this beautiful snowflake-looking thing with the picture of something that looks like a being on the inside of it, right? He also said to the water, "You make me sick." And when he said, "You make me sick," there is, and I got a picture of it, brother. It's, you can see the legs of, just the outline of an image of the legs, the torso, and it's almost like an arm with the elbow is sticking out to the side with a hand on their heart, as if they are really, really sick. And it was just interesting that the consciousness within the individual affected the physical matter of water to such a degree that it imprinted images. The water responded and imprinted images within the water itself.
Man, brother.
Deep, ain't it?
Man, brother. You might have some people out there like, what?
Yeah.
Scared to drink water. Say a prayer over your water.
Well, see, I mean, that's why the ancients looked at people that cooked food and said, you know, I don't want anybody preparing my food that is not in a good spirit.
Right.
If somebody's in a foul spirit, a bad spirit, you know, they just, you know, they tripping, they mad, they angry, they bitter. Because there's water in the food that we eat, that water is being affected by the emotional state. If you piss your queen off, excuse me for saying that word, I know that bothers people when you say that, but let's say it this way. If you make your queen angry, and she go in the kitchen slamming down plates and, you know what I mean, throwing food around, and man, that negative energy attaches itself into what she's doing, into the food, and then you eat that, and then you actually receive in your body a physical manifestation of her bitterness and her negativity, her anger, you know, which is why we got to watch our emotional states, because part of cosmic law is that what you think and what you feel comes back to you. Okay, just real quick, I want to just give a shout out to Dow Otru, who's also in the chat room. Peace and blessings to you. And hey, I neglected to mention, brother, we got started. I neglected to mention that you all can basically get in contact with us through the email, also through the chat room. Come on, those of you that are regulars, come on, you've been through this. You can just go to the website at www.wkhradio.com. And on that first welcome page that you will see, you'll have an option to get into the Ma'at chat room, or you will have an option to send me a question via email. And when you get into the chat room and when you send me an email, just make sure that your font is red. That way I'll know that it's meant to be read over the air. All right? Okay. So, family, we're here. I'm Pastor Asa Upchurch, and this is
Brother Akanlana Adofu Abdullah.
And we are here at WKHR talking about cosmic law, natural law, and whether or not we should obey that above all other laws. So we mentioned the first law, which is mentalism, which simply says you cannot have the universe or even physical existence without the mind, without consciousness.
True that.
Which is, go ahead.
And you know, to relate to that whole understanding has to relate to what we need to do as African people pertaining to our liberation.
Yes, say that.
You know,
yes.
if you don't first conceive it mentally, it's not going to come into a physical manifestation, because of the simple fact that you have to first have that on your mind in order for it to, you know, because anything that we see, from the computers that we communicate on, the telephones, all of those were spiritual things that we had in mind before they became a physical manifestation.
I love it, brother. I love it. That's true. But they became a reality after that thought matured. You know, because many of us have thoughts. Many of us have a whole lot of good thoughts.
Yes, sir.
You know, many of us have good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't we, you know, if it's true that you cannot have universe without mind,
mm-hmm.
how come our thinking a good thought doesn't immediately change our universe, our world, our reality?
Well, like you teach, brother, you know, you can't have one cosmic law without the operations of the other laws. You did the lecture that you did this past Sunday, as it referred to the, you were talking about that prism and those lights.
Yes,
and the chakras, and the fact that, you know, sometimes we get caught up on being one of those specific colors out of the spectrum without realizing that we are a combination of all those colors out of the light spectrum.
Yes.
And focusing on just that one color, it makes you incomplete. But when
Yes.
you understand that you are the ray of light that is
Yes.
a combination
Yes.
of all those colors.
Oh, you got that, huh?
Oh, brother, come on, man. You know what's up. You know what's up, brother.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So in looking at it, you know, anybody can have a fleeting thought.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, that thought does not become your thought until you can embrace it, cultivate it, and mature it.
Right.
I mean, think about this. You know, a man gets a woman. That woman is not necessarily going to be his wife until he can embrace her, bring her into his world,
Mm-hmm.
and then cultivate a relationship, and then manage that relationship for the divine good of all.
Right.
That, you know, that's when you have a lasting relationship. But anybody can have a one-night stand.
Right.
And with the good thoughts that we have, many of us have a one-night stand.
Right.
It's good for the moment. Woo, that felt good.
Right.
You know, it was a good thought for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, man? I'm gonna do this, man. I'm gonna get disciplined, man. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and I'm gonna start. You know, that fleeting thought is good for the moment, but it's like a one-night stand.
Right.
You gotta marry it. You gotta cultivate it. You gotta dedicate yourself to it.
Right, which would explain a lot of the negative relationships and the disrespect that we have amongst our kings and queens in our communities now.
Yeah,
It's the fact that they haven't tapped on to that maturity level with what you perceive in your mind. When it becomes a physical manifestation, You know, if you're not mature in your thought process, then you, like you said, man, we be having these beasts out here, brother.
Yes. Rather than images of God, we got, you know, images that make us say, "Oh my God," you know, what in the world have I done?
Right.
What the hell?
Yeah.
You know, what have I done? But on a real note, you know, I'm using the example or the analogy of a one-night stand.
Right.
The only thing that a one-night stand nurtures, because everything that we experience nurtures a part of us.
Mm-hmm.
Even negative things nurture a part of us. But the only thing that a one-night stand nurtures
Mm-hmm.
is the desire for convenience. Because in a one-night stand, you ain't got no commitment. You don't have any obligations.
Right.
You know, all it is, you know what? I'm a freak, she a freak, okay, I got a few minutes, let's do this.
Right.
And a one-night stand is nothing but convenience.
Mm-hmm.
And so when a person is used to flowing on that frequency and that vibration of convenience,
Mm-hmm.
they will then pass up many other things in life simply because it's not convenient.
Right. And unfortunately, that's the approach to, you know, what we need to be doing in our communities, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's convenient for you to fall in the line with the system that's already in existence.
Mm-hmm.
Work you a job, get a little paycheck, buy you a nice little house in some kind of, you know, middle class suburb.
Yes.
But then you forget about the masses of our people that's still in impoverished conditions.
Yes.
And as long as you satisfied, then
Yes.
peace.
Yes.
Because it's convenient
Exactly.
for you as an
Exactly.
individual.
And so you're right, brother. We're going to have to arise above that level of convenience and, you know, really do what is necessary in order to become the people that we need to be. Because, you know, I'll be honest with you, brother, many people are beating us hands down.
Man.
You know, I look at it, you know, many people are beating us hands down on a number of different issues. There's a movie, Step It Up 2, and I'm, you know, my son rented the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, now the African Village, we're not out just, you know, hating white people or hating whatever. No, we are here, as my brother's already stated, we are loving ourselves and trying to foster, you know, a peoplehood, a nationhood within us, and so with us constantly focusing on us, our health, our well-being, we don't have time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is a 24/7 job to be the parents that we're supposed to be the husband, wife, mate, lover that we're supposed to be. This is a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
But in this movie, Step It Up, I'm looking at this, I'm watching this, and you know, I'm noticing that many of the scenes are predominantly white scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And you almost have a kind of tokenism that's involved in the movie where the main characters are not blacks, even though everything that they're doing came out of the black culture.
Wow.
You know, from the dances that they're doing, the moves that they're doing, the style, the slang, you know, the whole hip hop culture, you know, all of that, you know, battling on the dance floor, you know, all of those things that they're doing came out of the African American culture, but now it has a white face.
Wow.
And see, what people better realize is that, you know, hey, there's some deep doo-doo going on because, look, Barack Obama got in, now they're saying there's no more racial lines, we don't have to worry about racism, and what's happening even more so now than ever before is that they're flip-flopping the color lines. So now there's an invasion into what we call the hip-hop community of, you know, basically Caucasians literally flooding. I mean, 80%, 70, I think it's what, 70 to 80% of the hip-hop music is purchased by white youth.
Europeans, no doubt. They have the money to purchase the CDs and things of the sort. But it's funny that you say that because I was in the bookstore today, and this European wrote a book about black lingo.
Okay.
And it's a guide to basically teach Europeans on how to talk black.
Come on now, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
My queen picks the book up off the shelf, and it's about black lingo, written by a European. But it's crazy when you brought up Barack Obama. You know, the question like you and other elders in the community, by having this discussion with them, they said we have an opportunity. Even Minister Louis Farrakhan brings it up. We have an opportunity with Barack Obama to make some changes for the infrastructure of the African community.
Yes.
But we have to ask ourselves in that situation, is Barack Obama going to make his decisions from natural law, or is Barack Obama going to make his decisions as they relate to man's law, which is the law that's been currently oppressing our people right now? So you have to ask yourself, the decisions that he make, are they going to come from that forum? Because if they're coming from that forum, then it's contradictory in itself.
Okay, so one of the issues then that as you bring this up, one of the things that I'm seeing is that, hey, 9 times out of 10, Barack is going to end up flowing out of a system that's basically mandated for him. In other words, he's got to live according to a set rule. And he can't piss too many people off. He can't do what is completely right. 9 times out of 10, he's going to revert to flowing in the law of man as opposed to universal law.
Right, no doubt.
Because of his position and because of his obligation.
No doubt. And, it's just a lot of different events that's going on community-wise. But I got to give it to Minister Louis Farrakhan in this last final call at the that conference that they had in New Orleans, the Black World Conference. Man, that brother dropped it, man. I got to give it to that brother, man. That brother dropped it, man, and he made a valid point. And the point is that we have to, as African communities, no matter what organizations that we are part of, we have to have a working relationship to create a united front amongst our people to take care of the problems that's plaguing us in our communities. Because you can't expect, just because we have, we use the misnomer, the first black president, but that's a debate in itself. But we can't. Barack Obama can only do what this man law, this United States of America law, allows him to do as it relates to liberating our people, bringing us out of the conditions that we in. So the minister said that, hey, he's not going to be able to do it by himself. So therefore, we're going to have to, assist him in that approach to, I just hope that right now, under these conditions that we have, and with this opportunity with having a black face in the White House, that, man, we can make some changes as it relates to the internal infrastructure of the African community,
And so, and I feel that, I agree with you, brother, and that's why I want to say that, this first principle of mentalism in universal law or cosmic law says that you can't have universe without mind. So then part of the consciousness movement is to bring our consciousness to a level to where we begin to resculpt, remold, reshape, and redo our world, our universe, based upon our divine thoughts. You feel me? Right. So that's why we, like you said before, in this movement of consciousness, we're trying to raise the consciousness of individuals so that we can affect and change our world realistically. Looking at a number of different things, we must become right in mind and right in spirit. Predominantly, we are producing what it is that our mind and our spirit is saying in majority. In other words, if there's a majority of bitterness in you, then you're going to produce out of that bitterness.
Right.
You can't help but to, because universe follows mind.
Right.
So if all of us Africans be of the same mind, be of the same flow, we become unstoppable.
Right.
And we will change our world, we will change our surroundings, we will change any and everything about us, because universe follows mind.
Right.
Okay. Looking at what we see in the chat room, Daotru says, and I sure hope I'm pronouncing that right, sweetheart. It says, I am wondering why liberated Africans are having a problem with Barack Obama's position insofar as the platform. His appointees and such, why do we, or they, seem to think that things would flow in any other way? And see, that is, man, that is such a good observation and question. As we were already stating, Barack has got to, you know, he's got to live up to a certain agenda.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we can't expect to see Barack coming out there with a kufi on and a daishiki with an ankh around his neck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they forced him with his name to admit that he wasn't a Muslim, but he was a Christian. You know, I mean, brother.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand exactly. You know, I feel that question, and I also have to try to give a brother the benefit of the doubt in a sense too. I mean, because I don't know if you know the listeners ever seen the movie The Spook Who Sat by the Door. You know what I'm saying? You would hope that you know the brother would have that sense where, you know, by him being in that position, he'll be able to shake and make some moves on the strength that, you know, he's doing it to better the African community. But at the, you know, with his appointees too, these are people that came from the same old garbage that we trying to get away from in the first place. But at the same time, if you're familiar with the art of war, it tells you to keep your enemies closer than you keep your friends. So, you know, here you are dealing with this situation. And, you know, one thing that I can say, and I, you know, I was, you know, my initial thoughts on the brother was to say that, you know, he being up under this system won't be able to create any change if he's going to be trying to create change under the same laws that oppress our people. But I first have to give the brother a chance to even get in there on January 20th, and we got to let it take its course. We can't just really eliminate the brother, and I got that from getting wisdom through, you know, you and the elders in the community, because you knew my initial approach on the brother, like, you know, anything that's bearing that them stripes and going on, if it ain't red, black, and green, I ain't with it, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, one thing I can say by getting that wisdom and really thinking about that, you know what I'm saying, I have to give the brother a chance, and what we need to be doing is praying that the brother even make it to January 20th. You know, let that soldier make it to January 20th, so we can say yay or nay with his operations as it relates to the you know, African people.
True. And you know what, part of me says, you know, that, see, now you set me straight on one thing, because one of the things that I was looking at really hard is the fact that gun sales rose exponentially. Okay, during this period right here,
What'd you say, bro?
Gun sales have risen exponentially, right? Double-digit percents, you know, boom, skyrocketing. And part of me said, you know what, man, these Europeans, man, they are getting ready for a race war. And part of what was in the back of my mind is they're gonna try to get rid of Barack. They're gonna off Barack. And then black folk gonna be so upset until black folk gonna be like, look, we tired of this, you know? And then comes the concentration camps and everything else. But you know what? When we look at issues like cosmic law, universal law, you know, we got to give it its proper value. It supersedes any and everything else that another individual can do. Right? To be honest with you, we can't do. Okay, I'm cooling down right now, right? Because a lot of thoughts just boiled up in me right at that moment. So let me just, I need some incense, y'all, or something. But if the United States military wants to grab all black folk, put them in concentration camps, and have them in max security prisons, to be honest with you, as a people, we couldn't do nothing about that. So why trip, right? I mean, other than taking your little pea shooter. Now, some of us ain't got pea shooters. Some of us got the real deal, right? But by taking your little pea shooter and down on a few of them, is that going to stop the mass? Is that going to stop the whole? No, it's not. But predominantly, if the United States government wanted to use all of its military, which is the greatest military that the world has ever seen, if they wanted to incarcerate all of us, bottom line, they could do it. So why trip on the negative? Why trip on what they're doing? Listen, maybe I just need this to, maybe I feel this way just so that I can sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
But my deal is this: if I flow with cosmic law, I'm putting out that is righteous. I'm putting out that is ma'at. I'm putting out that is divine. And so that's what I got coming back.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like to think of it like, courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to be able to, prevail through that fear.
What you say?
Man, so
okay, go ahead.
I like to think that through history, seeing the state of oppression that our people been in, that we won't fall for the same thing twice. I would die, me personally, and a lot of the brothers that I roll with will die before we be put in some conditions to where.
Wait, now you kind of roll with me, don't you? Right?
Man, you already know what's up.
Oh, okay. So then we must be like together. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Before I get put in a concentration camp, a whole lot of stuff will have to happen, like my body temperature dropping. But if you want to understand the enemy, you have to study that enemy, and you have to understand that you have to a lot of times emulate some of those things that are positive coming from the enemy. Everything that somebody does.
Okay, no, you didn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, the reality of it is, brother, is that although you may disagree with it, the robber that comes and knocks you across your head and take what's in your pocket, you may not agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a successful attempt in itself anyway, seeing that when you come back to consciousness, your wallet is gone. So what I'm saying to you is, what I'm saying is that, sometimes, we get so caught up into being real spooky about, we want to call on Jesus and Jesus gonna work everything out. It's even a Christian song that killed me, that he's gonna work it out.
He gonna work it out.
If you don't pay your We Energies bill, the reality of it, I don't care how much you call on Jesus. If the natatorium ain't around, that's getting cut off. You know what I'm saying? So we need to recognize that, we have to start studying our enemy in whole, and understanding that there's going to be some things that we're going to have to do and man and woman up to these different responsibilities, but how we do, brother,
Yeah.
We peace when peace is, necessary.
Exactly. And see, and we're going to get to the cosmic law that directly addresses that. And man, it's hard to believe that we only have 12 minutes left.
12 minutes?
Yeah, man, we got like 12 minutes left.
Man, I love chopping it up with my African people.
Hey, for real. But let's take this further, and if our listening audience doesn't mind, maybe, just maybe, we'll go over a little bit. But let's talk about the second law, which is correspondence, which says that as above, so below. Right? As above, so below. It's called the law of correspondence, but there's other dimensions to it. As above, so below. As without, so within. Okay? And also there's even a deeper dimension to it that says that as will be, so is it now. As will be, so is it now. Which is really the underlying principle behind the Kemetic system of opening the way. When you look at, the different natures that are involved in that, you're actually talking about, when you mention Hapi and Kebesen F and Imset and Duamet F, when you mention the four sons of Horus or Haru, they kept the organs of the deceased in those jars with the face of Kebesen F, Hapi, Imset, and Duamet F. Well, okay, wait a minute. So why are we opening up the way, mentioning these four that held the organs when they were dead? Well, the reason why they could hold the organs when they were dead is because they were also holding them in life. As it will be in the future when I'm gone, so is it right now. Which says, in a nutshell, I've got to live on a timepiece. I've got to live as if I'm dead now. So I gotta live out of the conviction that's in my heart. I gotta live like I'm dead. I gotta be true to self. I gotta be true to heart. I gotta live. I gotta act like I'm already dead. And so what do I want to receive on the other side?
Oh, that's peace.
You know what I'm saying?
That sounds African.
Yeah, man, that is African,
Oh,
man.
okay. I was just making sure that's
yeah, brother, that's 100% African. And so, as above, so below. So we look at the three pyramids, the Giza Plateau, and we see that the three stars line up with Asar's belt. Okay. No, I'm not saying, they want to tell you Orion. Man, okay. Who almost said something? It's not Orion, okay. Okay, we need to flip this back in the right direction. It's Asar, not Orion. So, in looking at the fact that we built pyramids based upon the stars and then covered them with granite so that they would shine at night and shine like a star on the earth as we looked up at the stars in the heavens, that said, as above, so below, right? And it's taken and put into the Christian prayer, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Well, that's the whole law of correspondence, okay? So, on a personal note, those values and things that you think important that are above you enough to rule over you, you end up emulating those. So in other words, if you value, I ain't gonna say you, right? Let me point to somebody else.
Right.
If a man values nothing but sex, then that value system, even though it's unspoken, that's going to rule his life. It's going to rule him because the law of correspondence says that thing that you govern, that thing that you love, not govern, that thing that governs you, that you love so much, it's going to play out in the rest of your life. So you end up demonstrating what you really love. I've had some people say, man, I'm down with the African village, man. I'm down, man. I'm for this, man. I'm for African liberation.
Right. But their actions do what?
But their actions, man. You don't even see them no more.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody, listen, when Dr. Ray Hagins was here, one brother came to me and said, man, I'm home. He said, I'm home. I've been looking for this. Man, this is what we need, man. I've been looking for this. Man, I ain't seen that brother since.
Man, right. Right, like we some kind of sideshow. Like African liberation is a sideshow.
For real, man. We ain't seen that brother never again.
Man, and like Khalid Muhammad said, man, you know what I'm saying? This is enough of that Negro stuff, man.
Yes.
Enough of that Negro stuff.
Enough of that.
You know what I'm saying? Revolution is the only solution,
So let's even talk about the third, all right? And I'm going to try to move along here with the time that we've got left. The law of vibration. Many of us remember, The Secret.
Yeah.
The DVD, The Secret. Yeah. Now, there were some positive points about The Secret that I got to say. But they flipped it in a way that pointed to materialism.
Yeah.
Do you want a new car? What do you want? Do you want money?
Right.
And they put it on a bestial level of just the physical, mundane, things of life.
Right.
But the law of vibration says basically that nothing rests, that everything moves, and everything vibrates on its own vibration.
Right.
And so if you vibrate on that frequency, it's then that you can reproduce that, and the universe will actually reward you with that because you are vibrating on that level, on that frequency.
Yeah, that's heavy.
And many of us don't realize that, there is some truth to the fact that, when you vibrate on the level of a beast, you can't help but to not only attract a beast, but act like a beast.
Man, that's what's going to happen, bro.
So what happens when our queens, vibrating on the level of a beast, runs out here and grabs the first long, knee-length, blonde wig that they see?
Man.
And put that mop on their head.
Why you talking about Beyonce, man? Why you say Beyonce like that on the slide?
And then turn around and get some blue contacts, some fake blue contacts, right?
Man.
Stop by the way and get some bleaching cream for their skin.
Man.
What level are you vibrating on?
Man, Africans know thyself. Man.
And so that's why many people hate to see us vibrating on what we're vibrating on, because we come out looking African, sounding African, talking African,
living
African, thinking African.
That's what's up.
And they understand that, you know what, if we vibrate on that level, we're going to have a different view of Christianity.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have a different view of our existence. We're going to have a different view of our queens. We're going to have a different view of our children.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Right.
So that law is really, you know, the law of vibration is a powerful law.
Right. Yes, sir. And you know, that's what we dwelling off of at the village, brothers. You know how the Europeans stole our term. You know, but it's really no African left behind. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what
no African left behind.
No African left behind. You know, that's really what he was talking about. He had stole that from the brothers. You know what I'm saying? So,
stole that, huh?
Right. That's what we vibrate on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, taking a step and moving. And listen, family, we're going to open up the phone lines, and feel free to stop by the chat room and, you know, do like DjehutiRa is doing, as well as Brother Larry's also done by emailing us. You can contact us either way. But you know what? Let's just do this. We're going to go ahead and open up the phone line now. The phone number is, for those of you that do not know, it's 877-458-9547. 877-458-9547. And you can feel free to call in, and you can come on the air with us and either voice your comments, or you can go ahead and ask us a question. So, moving right along.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go to the next one?
Man, go ahead, bro.
The next one is the law of polarity. Everything exists in duality, right? Everything has a completing side to it.
Mm.
Everything does. If somebody gave you $1 that had a Benjamin on the front, but had absolutely nothing on the back, would that $100 bill be any good?
No.
Okay? No, it would not. Not at all.
No.
Because it doesn't have the other side to it.
Right.
It's got to have a front, and it's got to have a rear. It's got to have a front and a back to it. Well, it's the same way with things in the natural and things in the spirit. And you know what I thought about, brother? I thought about homosexuality.
Whoa.
Because, okay, now hold on, okay. As Africans, we want to love you back into your right mind. We want to teach you back into your right mind.
Okay.
But check out what's happening. Now listen, okay, family, I know I might make some folk upset, but let me just go ahead and just spit this truth for a second. Because what you have, okay, think about this for a second. In homosexuality, one or both of the individuals have to, you know, inadvertently play the role of the man and the woman.
Man.
So just because it's another man, one of you are going to have to take the subservient role of the woman in order to simulate that polarity. You are still operating on divine law,
Man.
even though you flipping it.
Man.
All you saying is, I'm going to let this man be my woman, or I'm going to let this woman be my man. And notice what happens with some of our sisters that flow that way. They become masculine. They look masculine. They walk masculine. They dress masculine. Why?
Man.
Because they are, listen, cosmic law is powerful, and they are still operating in it. Why does one of the sisters have to be the man?
Yeah, that's some psychological something.
Really. Why does one of the brothers have to be the woman?
Yeah, man. Man, that what's so crazy about that is that it amazes me what our people accepts as entertainment. I mean, you got these Negroes like Tyler Perry out here making millions of dollars, making a living, spending more time in a woman's outfit than he is being the man that he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even your Ving Rhymes and your Cuba Gooding Jr.'s all done had roles playing these.
Oh, for real,
man,
for real. I mean, whenever you can get a butt-kicking Wesley Snipes, you know what I'm saying? Hi-ya! You know what I'm saying? The brother can kick you, you know, every which way, but, you know,
man,
to put him in a dress?
Man, yeah, man. We gotta we got a lot of internal cleaning that need to be going on. And one thing that I'm proud of as far as it relates to the village, man, is there's a whole lot of stuff that you Negroes is doing out here that we just don't accept being members of the African village, man. And that homosexuality is one of them. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, we got a lot of internal cleaning that we need to be doing, brother. But
and you know what? And to be fair, to be honest and just, in raising the consciousness, though, brother, in raising the consciousness of, you know, the brothers and sisters that need to not only come out of mental religious slavery, we've got some brothers and sisters that need to arise in consciousness because they're bound by sexual slavery. There's a perversion that is spiritual that may not be religious, but is spiritual nonetheless. And we are here to raise the consciousness and bring people up in all areas.
Yeah, and that's peace. I mean, but you know, that's one thing that has to happen, is that you get raised in consciousness, because that's a heavy load, brother. I had a homosexual tell me that they was born gay, and
wow.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, well, you know, that doctrine's been going around for a while. But you know what? But check this out, though. In the universal or cosmic law of polarity, the person, I don't care if it's male or female, they end up portraying the opposite sex. The man that is a homosexual will end up trying to talk, move. You know, I mean, some of them have even gone out to try to get sex changes or they're taking estrogen to get their voices lighter, their hair longer, their body and their skin, you know what I'm saying, silky, whatever. You know, they're trying to do all of this because the law of polarity, or the universal cosmic law, is still at work, and the law of polarity still reigns. Okay, you have two women. One of them is going to be, so to speak, the male. She's going to be the one to strap on the belt, and she's going to be the one to approach the other woman. Okay?
Oh, man.
And she's going to feel like, well, okay, I'm the one that is going to do this to her. Because that law of polarity still reigns. It still exists. If you call yourself a homosexual, it still exists. Now, let me just go ahead and just flip it this way before I let this go. The perverted attraction of homosexuality is this, that it actually attempts to achieve a divine balance, because there is masculine and feminine in us all. And so homosexuality or lesbianism is within itself an attempt to honor that divine half of ourselves, but it's out of balance. And it's, you know, rather than being checked and imbalanced, it's on turbo, and you know, you can't get it back to where it belongs.
Man.
So to move right along, okay, and once again, family, you can feel free to call in 877-458-9547. Once again, 877-458-9547. And this is the Tracing the Steps of Truth podcast. I am Mwalimu Asa DjehutiRa, also known as Pastor Upchurch, the chief elder of the African village. And I'm with
Akilana, Minister of Defense of the African village here in Milwaukee.
And so we want you to join us. We want you to email us. We want you to stop by the chat room. And we want you to be a part of our conversation. Well, do you think we can move on to the next one?
Go ahead, bro.
Okay. The next one is what?
The law of rhythm.
The law of rhythm, yes. Which another way of saying that is the law of cycles. Everything has a cycle. Everything has a rhythm. Sometimes I think about this particular principle as beating a djembe drum, beating on a djembe. If you were to simulate the year, well, that would be one hit. But if you were to simulate the months, that would be 12. Okay. If you were to simulate, you know, the weeks, that would be 52 beats on the drum. And so there is a rhythm that you can play to simulate time as time and creation rolls on. Everything has its rhythm. Everything has its cycle. Many of us understand that, you know what, to have a baby on an average, you're talking about 9 months. So 9 becomes the number of birth. And so that rhythm of 9 becomes an important number that brings about birth and newness. So everything flows out and in. Everything has its, it's got its own ebb and flow. Everything has a rise and fall. It's got, the pendulum swings all the way to the left, and then it swings all the way back to the right. Everything has its own rhythm. Okay? And so one of the divine laws is rhythm. So what is our rhythm? Well, let's talk about this, because like in an orchestra, you've got a number of instruments playing all at the same time.
Right.
But they're on a different rhythm.
Right.
Now, we are the exact same way. Just like we have a rhythm to be born in 9 months. If it took 24 months, if a woman was pregnant for 24 months, she'd be like, man, something is wrong with me. I mean, there's something wrong with this baby, because it's taken 24 months. It shouldn't take this long. Why? Because humans take 9 months. Well, on that note, there is a rhythm to everything about us, not just the rhythm of our birth, but also the rhythm and the cycle of our mentality. Okay? The cycle of our mind, the rhythms of our mind, how your mind flows. Okay? There's people that don't have the proper rhythm, and so they cannot think properly. We've got an email from Brother Dave. Brother Dave said, Ma'at Hotep. I tried to call in, and I got a recording. I want to say to Brother Dave, please call in again. I didn't take the phone, I didn't put the phone where I could see it, but now I can see it. So go on ahead and call back in, brother. We'll make sure that you get online with us. And not just Brother Dave, but anyone else out there that want to call, feel free to go ahead and give us a call at 877-458-9547. And so the law of rhythm and the cycle is important for us to understand. Think about this. We talk about frequencies. Well, rhythm actually ties in with frequency. Okay, because now check this out. A frequency is what? How frequent a beat is beating. Exactly. So within frequency is rhythm. You got to have one before you have the other. So it's like a father and a son. You got to have a father before you can have a son. Well, the rhythm is such a strong part of not only the cosmic law, but it becomes a part of us. And there are rhythms that actually, because rhythms are also frequency, rhythms also attract things into our life. Okay? Think about this on rhythm. I have a monthly bill. In fact, many of us have monthly bills that we got to pay.
Right.
If I get off that rhythm, and rather than on that 30-day rhythm, right? Boom, every 30 days. Boom, boom. If I'm off rhythm with that, and let's say I'm on the 60-day rhythm, when my bills are on a 30-day rhythm, right?
That's what you call a sample, brother, because that's how long your utility is going to be on sample length. Yeah, brother. So, you all out of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. So, there's a rhythm to everything, and so we got to flow in the right rhythms.
True that.
There are some rhythms that destroy, and there are some rhythms that help and that heal. Okay? There are things within our bodies, like for instance, every cell in your body reproduces every 7 years. When you get cells in your body that grow beyond that rhythm, they're called cysts, they're called growths, they're called cancers, they're called, so when the body gets out of rhythm, it needs to be put in rhythm.
Right.
Which is why a part of cosmic law says that, listen, if you got high blood pressure, take your behind down by the seashore. Or get you one of these tapes with the oceans on it, and the waves of the ocean will regulate your blood pressure.
That's what's up, man.
Just checking out the chat room as well. I'm checking out the emails, and we are able. Man, I better make sure I watch this phone, man, because I get to talking, brother. But moving right along. Now here's a big one, brother.
Yeah, man. I was waiting for you to.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and introduce that one to us.
Man, the law of cause and effect.
Okay, so law number 6 is what?
Cause and effect.
The law of cause and effect. Go ahead and talk to us about that, brother. What does that mean to you?
Cause and effect. Man, it's worded so well. You know what I'm saying? Because of the simple fact that, man, I mean, there is a reason, you know, when I think about, you know, I always think in terms of what our people need to do, our African people need to do. And when I think about the, you know, reason for why we in the predicament that we in, and that's because of the simple fact that the cause is because we, over time, from being, you know, invaded and things being twisted and turned, accepting doctrine that's not of ourselves. The cause is that we stepped away from natural law, from what we cosmic law. And the effect of stepping away from cosmic law is what you are observing presently as it relates to our people, man. You know, and that is a heavy. That's one of those laws, brother. That wow.
You know, I like what I'm reading. It says chance is but a name for law not recognized. Let me say that again. Chance is just a name for a law that you have yet to recognize. You think it was time and chance, but the underlying piece behind that is it's cause and effect.
Man,
you know, you being perhaps one of the most faithful that we have at the village, and very dedicated, and you know that we appreciate you. I know you were there when I showed the clip of mental. It was I did a piece on media mind control and manipulation. And in this family, I showed where this man walks into an office of 2 advertisers. They make commercials, they make advertisements. And he drove them there to that meeting. And what he did was he asked them to make a commercial for a product. He had programmed their mind in the journey to that meeting, so that when he got to that meeting, he had already seeded their minds and implanted thoughts with what was necessary for them to give him exactly what he wanted. So, you know, cause and effect, I mean, many of us think that we, you know, I'm flowing on my, you know, I'm my own man, I'm my own woman. Look, Negro, 9 times out of 10, you have been so brainwashed and sedated by the commercials you've seen, by the news that's twisted that you watch, by the newspapers, by every other thing, until your opinion has already been scoped out for you. You've been told what to think, you've been told what to say, you've been told how to feel.
A complete trust in mainstream media.
Yes. And many black folk got that bad, brother.
Man.
If the news says it, it's like bond. Jesus done come down and the angels done sung. It is the gospel truth.
Man, brother.
So, to move right along with the last law, okay, and just before I do, I'm checking out the emails and I'm making sure that we have all of our lines of communication. Do you want to handle the next email question?
Yeah, the question is, how then shall we return if we have stepped away? Where do we begin? That is a good question. It's a good question because of the simple fact that, I mean, from my perspective, the best beginning right now is for us to fall, you know, like Elijah Muhammad said, and the minister, Louis Farrakhan, reiterates, is that we have to fall back in love with one another. You know, we have to fall back in love with one another, because love consists of a lot of different things, and one of those things is trust. once we fall back in love with one another, then we can fall back in trust with one another, and we won't have such a shadowy perception of a fellow brother or sister. And once that is established, then the foundation for further improvement can be set up on that bottom foundation. Then you can begin to build the rest of the tiers of the pyramid. But the first thing that we have to do is fall back in love with one another. And like the chief said, you said too, brother. I mean, we take so many people's impressions of us that's not within our own. We have to have our own circle. You know what I'm saying? And so we take that's like you reading a book about Islam written by a Jew. The book itself is already biased because it was written by somebody that was biased to the Islamic faith.
Yes.
So you can't, we have to be smart. But the first thing that we do, I would think, would be to fall back in love with one another. So,
and in order, I did a little piece on the broadcast here, and I had a real strong suggestion, and I'm gonna let you in on that suggestion. That before you sing a love song to your queen or to your king, you learn how to sing that song to yourself.
Man, Ashe, brother. Ashe,
because you got to be able to love self first,
brother. Ashe,
because you're presenting a package to your queen or to your king.
Ashe.
And if you don't value that package enough to love it, then what are you giving to your king or what are you giving to your queen? I mean, you listen, in order to know love, you can't know love from the exterior by just giving it to somebody. No, you got to love yourself first. So the first love song, when I began to heal, I had to sing a love song to myself. Brother, I had to look myself in the mirror and let me know that despite all the negative things that society and the world and people and even my family, despite all the negative things that my family and everybody that I know says or may say about me, I love you. I like you. I see your good. I see who you really are. And I like you. Man, that's a strong piece there. Because many of us don't have the love of self, and so we go opening up our legs if we're a woman, or we go trying to poke everything with a skirt because we're looking for that love that can only come from self, which deep down on the inside of yourself is the true divine. You're looking for the love of self and the love of the divine that can really only come from you. You're looking for that on the outside, and you'll never find it.
Outside.
You listen, I don't care how many fine women you come across. I don't care how many soft arms you lay in, or how many soft laps you lay in. It will never, ever be right. You'll never, ever get enough. You'll hop from one love to another, one relationship to another, until you step in front of the mirror and embrace yourself and love yourself.
What's the question? Is there a message available in the form of media on this concept for the village? We need this. Well, peace to that.
Yeah, thank you. I shaded that. Listen, thank you very much. And you know what? There's a number of messages that we have, not just here on WKHR, but there's a number of podcasts that I've done that kind of address this whole concept. I've got two podcasts. One is called The Husia, and of course this podcast, Tracing the Steps of Truth. If you go to iTunes, just go to iTunes, click Mwalimu, MWALIMU. You'll find out that both of these will pop up, and you can choose between what you want to download and listen to. And by the way, family, this show will also be uploaded tonight. Before you wake up in the morning, you'll be able to download this show with myself and my brother. You'll be able to download it through iTunes and listen to it in your MP3 player, as well as it'll be uploaded on the website that you can stop by and take a look. I appreciate you saying that we need this, and you are very, very right, because all of us need love of self. Think about it this way. When we were, kind of like macking back in the day, dropping our game, trying to get that phone number, when we recognized that this was someone of halfway decent value, what did we say? I want to get to know you better.
Right.
And so what then came out of that? We said, well, we fell in love. Well, how did you fall in love? Well, I took the time to get to know her better. Right? So, to know thyself becomes a part of loving yourself. You'll never get to know yourself until you fall in love with yourself and try to get to know yourself better.
Right. I
So,
say to that, brother.
So moving right along, we're going to take the next 10 minutes, brothers and sisters, and I want to say to those of you that have tried to call in, please go ahead and call in again. The line is open here at 877-458-9547, just in case if you wanted to know what the number is. Right. Also, you can email us through the website by tapping into the welcome page on the website. Stop by the chat room. You can hop in and you can do what's already being done through the website, through the chat. They're talking to us. So with the next few minutes that we have, we've got about, I want to say 10 minutes left, actually 9 minutes left. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit this last one, right?
All right, brother.
Okay, number 7. Number 7 is gender. One of the divine laws is gender, okay? Gender is in everything, okay? Because everything has a masculine and feminine. If you notice the languages that are older than English, all of them have feminine words and masculine words. Even Spanish, it has feminine and it has masculine words. And yeah, a balance, that divine balance. But when I was a brainwashed Negro, knew nothing but Christianity, I thought it was real strange that you had masculine words and feminine words. Because in English, you know what I'm saying? It's you know what it is? Man, this is deep, brother. Okay. Hang with me on this, all right? You got a minute?
Yeah, I got a minute, brother.
Think about it for a minute. When you take a female cat or dog and remove their ability to operate in that female function of birth, you say that they are neutered.
Yeah, true that.
They are neutered. Newt in the English or in the Latin is the root for neutral. Neutron, neutral. In other words, it has no distinctive qualities. It is neutral. It is mid-ground. Okay? And on that note, looking at gender says exactly the opposite. You can't be neutral. You can't be both. No. You've got to be of one or the other, and then you come together with your complement and you become one. Gender says there's masculine and there's feminine. The English language is a neutered language that removes, really, because we don't have masculine and feminine words.
Right.
We don't have that. It's just neutered.
Yeah.
Cut, boom. You know, take away your value, take away your. It's a neutered language.
Right.
Okay, a neutral, neutered language. Here comes the male person. No, that's the male man. No, it's not the male man anymore.
Right.
Now you got to say male person.
Right.
You know, because the English language is a neutered language. We are removed from producing because we don't honor the genders.
Right.
And one of the main things that we see is that the woman has been taken out of her place. She was taken out of the divine Trinity in Kemet. You had Father, Son, and Divine Mother. But now you got Father, Son, Holy Ghost. But you know what the deep piece on that is?
Holy Daddy.
The Holy Other Daddy. The Holy Other Daddy. Now, despite the fact that the modern version of Christianity actually kind of like, condones in a roundabout way homosexuality. Because you got Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. You got 3 male entities, right? So it's supposed to be all of the universe. Where is there room left for the divine black woman?
Right.
Ain't no room.
Right, but that would explain that tambourine man that you see in them churches. That wrist real flexible. He got that real flexible wrist.
Oh, man.
He the hell out that tambourine. You say yourself, that's why that dick don't clap like that. You done took that woman out the equation. That's why he act like that.
Yeah, so he got to take the place thereof. I mean, when you think of how many little altar boys have been assaulted,
Man,
you know,
oh man.
man, and they, you know, it's died down a little bit now.
Man.
But man, they was, man, them priests, man, you know, they're like, man, I thought I got away with that. You know what I mean?
That's that cause and effect too, man. That's that law, man. That's that rhythm and polarity, man. You know what you put out there, you're gonna pull back in. So if you cut the woman out of the equation, you know what I mean? Come on, man. I mean, just think of the. What has to be going through your mind for you to take an oath to say that I'm going to save myself for this man that's awaiting for me in heaven? You know, priests, I mean, they don't marry, they don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if everybody was to become a priest, we can't procreate. We can't, you know.
Wow.
Because I'm going to save myself for this man so he can do what? Sodomize you when you get to heaven? Come on, man.
Oh, man.
Stop
But
playing.
you know what? That is really deep because as I think about that, brother, I mean, think about it. You got some priest somewhere that's saying, my greatest day is going to be when I see Jesus. And what does the Bible tell you? That there's one mediator between God and man, the man, Christ Jesus. So he is living to one day meet this man.
Man. Come on, man.
I'm sorry,
That's
brother,
what that, you know. One thing the Creatress did, and I do say Creatress because I, like you, agree that I believe that the Creator, that God is a woman. You know, because I mean, just face it. You know, when we came into this world, we came through a woman.
Yes, we did.
You know,
yes, we did.
My first love, the first understanding for me of love was from a woman.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
I mean, I have to. You know, if you know, we are if we are created in the image, you know, and we are, you know, divine creation. We are God in physical form, the physical manifestation.
Yes.
You know, then, you know, I got to think that, you know, we are, you know, we understand those examples on how it relates to natural law. But, you know, when you go and you take the woman completely out of the equation, man, that's kind of spooky.
Yeah.
You can't, no man has a intimate situation with a ghost and then a child comes along, man.
Yeah, exactly. And,
You know
what? That's the reason why homosexuality is so valued in the Greco-Roman culture.
Man, you know.
Because it says that a man is all, but that man can act like a woman and have intercourse with another man and still be a man. That's why it's so valued.
Man.
Because it takes the place of a woman and it's still a man doing it. So, you know, one of the issues is that, you know, one of the pieces I was going to drop is that back in the day, the early Christians thought of the Holy Ghost as a woman. But the Catholic Church took it and made it completely, totally masculine.
Man, and you know what bothers me is not that the Catholic Church has their doctrines, or you know, or the Christians have their doctrines the way that they have. That don't bother me. What bothers me is the multitude of Africans that's involved in such hideous behavior, man. I mean, I like to think that God created us with at least one sense of filtration, and that's common sense.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I mean, if you came through this world through a man and a woman, and then came you, how can you then correlate a divine child coming out of nowhere, you know,
True.
from some ghosting goings on?
True.
Come
Exactly.
on, man.
Exactly.
We got to be smarter, Africans.
Well, you know, with the few seconds that we have left, let me just run through the 7 laws and just maybe open up the eyes of some as to how we're living in violation of those divine laws. 1, in gender. According to divine law, there is gender. Gender is everything. You need those divine complements, right? Man and woman comes together to make a baby. But in this society in which we live, it says that man is dominant. It is the man that is the one.
Right.
The woman is paid less, even though she does the same job. Of course, we've yet to have a woman president. We yet have to see a woman even included in the religious triads or trinities of our day. You got Father, Son, Holy Ghost. The woman is removed from that. She's been removed. In fact, according to Genesis, the woman is the main reason why sin exists in the world. Mm-hmm. Well, until we reverse that, the woman is forever going to have to pay penance for somebody else's mythology. So, as a whole, this culture is basically violating the divine law of gender, the law of cause and effect. Well, this society says, according to Dr. Claude Anderson, this society says, after the 60s, we're not, white America is not going to take any responsibility for what we did. We're not going to accept the fact that we are the cause for the now experienced effect of the black man. Mm-hmm. We're not going to take the blame for that. We're going to blame it on the black man. In fact, we're going to poke out the eyes of the black man and then damn him for being blind. Mm-hmm. So they refuse to look at the cause and the effect. It's all your fault. You're the enemy. You're the reason why you're in this mess. It's all on you. And so they hide the fact that they are the cause. And the rhythms are completely messed up. Our months used to be on a 30-day month. That's why October, which means 8, is now in the 10th month. Right? Because Julius and Augustus decided to be emperors and said, you know what, I need a month named after me. Right. So they literally pumped into the system a month named after them. Right. And so the rhythm is off, the cycles are off. We no longer celebrate the new month with the full moon. So the rhythm is off, our timing is off, our years are off, our calendars are off.
Right.
We are, definitely. We are completely out of our time and out of our divine cycle. Polarity. Everything is dual, but no, not according to this particular society. This particular society says, you know what? All you got to do is pay attention to number one. Forget about the other side. Forget about the other spectrum. It's all about me. It's all about number one. Mm-hmm. That's why the United States goes about doing whatever it wants to do. Forgetting about every other country, because it's only their interest that they value. They don't look at that polarity. They don't look at the divine. They don't look at the other side. I got the might, so I got the right. And so they don't look at that polarity. Vibrations. Right now, they are using this in a twisted sense to bring about disease in our communities. There are satellites that are beaming down vibrations through heart. There are very, I want to say, negative and even fatal vibrations that are being pumped into the ground and pumped into the heavens. So vibrations are being used against us. We're outside of our right vibrations. And so we are basically, once again, in a society that's out of divine balance. Correspondence, as above, so below. Well, they've taken the starry heavens away from us, and they've painted a heavens where there's a mansion, and you're going to be able to lay on clouds and eat grapes, and you're going to be able to just, like the song says, when I see Jesus, amen. Nice. Woo, it's going to be working when I see Jesus. And so that becomes your heaven, rather than looking at the natural heavens that God has given you, the stars, and understanding that as above, so below. We're here to emulate that which is in heaven, not to make a fictional heaven and say, well, I can't wait to see Jesus. I want to say something else about that, but time won't let me. Also, mentalism. Without the mind, there is no universe. Don't pay attention to that. Hey, the universe is what it is. You just keep this stuff in your mind, what we show you on the television, what we want you to think, what we want you to feel. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Oh, brother, that about sums it up, brother. The only thing I can say is, again, we got to start falling back in love with one another, and loving thyself and loving brothers and sisters that's identical to us.
Yes.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Well, within the next few seconds, just as we close, I want to read a message from the chat room. Daotru says, "Thank you, brothers. This was a good teaching. Hotep, and much love." Well, thank you as well. We return the love back to you.
Hotep.
And we appreciate you as well. And also, We have an email here from, oh, I know who this is from. This is from my queen, Anka Sinaman. She says, Ma'atotep African brothers, thank you for the show tonight. One thing that is prevalent in our conscious walk is that we must rediscover, create, and maintain the balance between the male and the female. And I say ashe to that. May I receive, okay, never mind. All of creation has male and female. And it is a shame that the European system has manufactured a wall between male and female and thus created an imbalance in life itself. As true Africans, it is part of our liberation to restore the balance in the home and family, and that all that is created from that will be in balance. Ma'atotep Anka Sinaman. Well, listen, I want to say that, you know what, we definitely appreciate those of you that stopped by, those of you that called in. Brother Dave said that he's tried to call in, and looks like he's being blocked from calling in. This is not the first time that supposedly the system had a mind of his own and would not cooperate. We remind you that last week, none of this show, because we had the same topic last week, none of this show would air, okay? Maybe someone doesn't want us to get involved in divine law.
Right. One thing I want to add, though, right?
Go ahead, brother.
Just on the strength of, I don't know if this is happening in communities, you know, outside of what's really been happening in Milwaukee, but we all know that our telephone devices, our cell phones and stuff like that, you know, you say the wrong thing on those things and you will be getting scanned.
Oh, definitely.
They have a movement. I had a sister that works in communications with a major provider, service provider, and there's a company called Cricket that's popping up, and they're actually only popping up in urban areas. They're having a high infiltration of Cricket stores popping up, and it's a cell phone provider. And we have to be cautious with this cell phone provider because of the simple fact that their main purpose is to flood the inner city. And a lot of the cases that's been brought up with brothers and stuff that's being incarcerated on frivolous drug charges and stuff like that, they have information that states that a lot of those brothers were under the operations with the Cricket cell phone service. So we have to be real.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This and right now in Milwaukee, they are flooding the area with this cell phone provider. So you know, anytime that brothers and sisters, one thing I can say is if you have information about different things that's going on as it pertains to our people, you know, when we on the air, feel free to jump on the air and drop that, because we need to warn each other when there's garbage out here, you know, that's corrupting our community. So I tell all brothers and sisters to be careful if that Cricket provider starts hitting your area, you know, but always be aware that these phones and these services are government controlled anyway. The internet too, so you know.
Well, definitely. And you know what, family? Hey, I was gonna get Cricket. I was thinking about it, but you know what? Hey, like I gotta take advice that I give everybody at the village and everyone that listens to me, and as you do as well. Do your own research. Let's go ahead and verify and look at it and go ahead and just, you know. Man, I'm kind of disappointed, brother. I was thinking about that $35.
Man, they give you a pretty deal. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's sweet, man. It's sweet. It's a sweet deal, but...
All right, y'all. Check out the information. Feel free to make up your mind for yourself. As we always say, go ahead and do the research for yourself. And hey, like Dr. Delbert Blair says, it's true when you discover it to be so. So, hey, listen, we've enjoyed the time that we have, and I am Pastor E.S. Upchurch, also known as Mwalimu Asa DjehutiRa, and I've also been on the broadcast with
Brother Akilana Adofo Abdullah.
And we are happy to be with you here on WKHR. We love you, we appreciate you, and you know what? We will now return to our normally scheduled broadcast. Ma'at Hotep.
Ma'at Hotep.
And see you next week.